Vintage clothing for me is a way of living that starts not with clothes, but with a conscious and sustainable way of living in general. I feel like the awareness for ethical consumerism did arise in our generation a lot the last years. And I think right now we still have the choice, but looking into the future, I believe it becomes an obligation to buy and think ethically. And since I'm aware of my responsibility as an individual, but still love fashion, second-hand clothing is the only way to shop clothing. Also, it's the only way of how I can express myself, because I certainly don't believe that running after trends from fast fashion stores that change their assortment every 2 or 3 weeks has anything to do with fashion or being stylish. With vintage clothing, I get to decide what suits my style and my personality. I think for myself, I also really got influenced by my studies at the Amsterdam Fashion Institute. I chose this school because sustainability plays a big part in their education. And as we should understand by now, there is no fashion on a dead planet. I guess for me, the point where I realized what I value in fashion was when we had to analyze our consuming behavior, and I got to understand that my personal relationship to clothing is based on emotional value, on unique pieces with special memories. Vintage clothing gives me this feeling. The most sustainable way of consuming is, of course, shopping your own wardrobe, realizing what you already own. And what I do is a lot of upcycling old clothes from my parents or old stuff I own. But I do love fashion, of course, so I also love to get new things, and aligning that with my principles, the best way is to shop secondhand. By giving clothes a second chance, whether it's selling or buying, we're able to reduce textile waste, which is, with fashion as the second largest world polluting industry, overly necessary. It's our duty, now more than ever, to be more thoughtful with our buying choices. Buying vintage helps to shift the demand for fast fashion and overproduction of goods. When I see something new that I like, I try to find the vintage version of it. And I'm pretty sure you can still shop currently fashionable items when buying vintage. And as we all know, the fashion trends tend to repeat cyclically. Putting the environmental consequences aside, how can we ignore the fact that humans are being exploited and that we as consumers in this industry take advantage of poor populations who have no choice but to work for any salary in any working conditions? I think every consumer should be aware of the responsibility and the privilege of having the choice to decide what they support. I really wonder what else it takes to wake people up. But I'm also hopeful, since we are the future in this industry and the younger generation is demanding more and more responsibility of brands. So there lies responsibility on both sides, consumer and companies, and it has to be a collective change on how we value clothing. We need a mindset change in the system that leads to more knowledge of the clothes we wear. Not just the style of clothing, but the ingredients. And I think the information about the history of a garment helps to make the right choice.